Okay, so I thought you guys might be wondering how I went from this with Mary A. What can I say? Team's running hard cause the way that you play to this.
1, 2, 3.
And if you weren't wondering, well, you're about to find out anyways. It all sort of started when I was a sophomore in high school and my favorite musician was this ukulele player on YouTube, Julian Nunes.
I bet you thought that I forgot about our field.
You should definitely all go check out because she's awesome and she was definitely my original inspiration. So I saved up my money for my first paycheck actually and bought a ukulele and taught myself how to play, simultaneously teaching myself how to play guitar as well. So then the Summer Olympics came around and I got really into the USWNT national team. Honestly, initially because of all of their nicknames. I thought that was so cool that all the players had nicknames and that they were crazy and silly and just their antics in general, and I just thought it was so much fun, and so I was inspired to write a song about them. It sort of blew up overnight, mostly because of Abby Wambach. When I say mostly, I mean like 100% because of her, and so everything sort of changed after that. I kept writing songs. I wrote one after every game of the Olympics except for after the semifinal against Canada. I wrote 2 because that game deserved 2 songs, because when you play 123 minutes and score with 30 seconds to spare, you deserve more than 2 songs written about you. After the Olympics were over, I kind of thought I was done, but then things kept happening and there was more stuff to write about, and so I continued. They announced their gold medal victory tour and they were going to stop in Houston, and I'm actually from Houston, but I go to school in Austin, so of course the game in Houston was the same day that I had a final exam here in Austin, and so I wasn't going to be able to go. This is where we reach the first multifaceted plan of the story. Operation Get to the Game. The plan was to convince my professor, Dr. Banner, to let me take the exam early so I could then drive back to Houston and make it to the game in time. The first thing I did was tweet Abby Wambach about the fact that I might not be able to make it to the game. I really wanted to meet her. I have to get my professor to let me take this exam early. And she tweeted back and she said something like, if you can make it to the game, like, I'll get you in, or something like that. I went to Dr. Banner during his office hours and I was prepared to like beg and cry and fall to my knees hoping that he would let me take this exam early. I didn't have to do any of that. He was actually really cool about it. I ended up telling him about the songs and the videos and about the tweets and all of that, and he thought it was pretty cool. He watched 2 or 3 of the videos while I sat there embarrassed, and he sort of cut me a deal. He said I could take the exam early, but I would have to write a song about the environment and perform it live in front of our class of 250 students. Keep in mind that this was my first semester of college. I was a freshman. I was terrified. I had never performed in front of anyone. I dressed up like a fish. I sang about the Gulf of Mexico and dead zones. So keep that fertilizer under your crops. I really could do without the runoff. And I got to take the exam early and make it to the game on time. That was really awesome, and thank you, Dr. Banner, for that. The next phase of my plan was to meet Abby Wambach and thank her for pretty much changing my life. At open practice, I got to meet my favorite players, and Kelly called my ukulele a mini guitar, and Pino told me that her favorite song by Missy Higgins was Everyone's Waiting, which is my favorite song by Missy Higgins, so that was the biggest deal ever. But I didn't get to meet Abby Wambach. It just didn't work out, and so my quest continued. Oh wait, okay, hold on. The last phase of that plan was to thank Dr. Banner for letting me do that and get to the game on time. I tweeted Abby. I actually got her to give him a thank you shout out on Twitter. I showed it to him in class. He thought that was the coolest thing ever. So that brings us to what I'm assuming is the only part you guys actually care about. This guy saw my videos and thought they were pretty cool. He wanted to set something up if the team ever came to my area, and then the San Antonio game was announced and I freaked out. So now we've come to the second multifaceted plan of the story. Operation Abby Squared at open practice. Phase 1 was to write a new song. Check. Phase 2, devise a game plan. After a lot of discussion, we finally decided on an interview / meet Abby format for the video, which is what we ended up doing, and I think it worked out pretty well. Phase 2.5 was freak out about everything. What I was going to wear, what I was going to say, if my lips were going to look chapped on camera, everything. Phase 3 was put the game plan into action, which can pretty much be summed up by this video. Phase 4 was to premiere the new song, which I did, and you can watch it here. So, that's the story of how one mega awesome soccer player and one super mega awesome press officer sort of made my dreams come true. And on that note, I'd like to announce that I'm retiring from writing US Women's National Team songs. Bye! Just kidding, I'm just getting started. They've got their eye on